If your curls are still super frizzy and not lasting, even though you've been doing everything you were told, the advice might be the problem. I'm gonna walk you through popular curly hair advice that could be working against your hold. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Gina, and here on this channel, we simplify curly hair so it works with your lifestyle. Everything I share here comes from working directly with clients across all different hair types. And these are the patterns that I've seen consistently across the board. First, you need to understand that hold is what controls your frizz and your curl definition and how long that your style lasts. And every single one of these 5 things could be working against it. One of the most common pieces of advice in the curly hair world is that you should deep condition once a week for healthy curls. But if your results are consistently worse on the days where you deep condition, such as you have more frizz, your curls don't last, or maybe they're very weighed down, deep conditioning that often could be working against you. To understand why, it's helpful to first know the moisture hold balance framework. This is my method that explains how moisture, conditioning, and hold interact. This is what nobody talks about, but it's so helpful to understand when you're building a balanced routine. Most curly hair products contain conditioning ingredients because yes, our hair does need conditioning. But what people don't tell you is that conditioning agents are usually left behind on the hair even after you rinse them out. Some is left behind. That's what they're designed to do, so your hair is left feeling soft. But what's the problem with too soft curls? Well, then they don't hold. Especially if you're somebody who has naturally soft hair already. If you are wavy, if you have loose curls and your hair is fine, or maybe it's already fairly healthy, you definitely don't need to be deep conditioning that often. It's just going to create way too much softness, and then you're not going to get hold, which then leads to frizz and weighed down hair. Now, those of you who have rough, brittle, and flexible hair, you definitely can benefit from deep conditioning. But you need to understand the signs of actually needing to deep condition versus just deep conditioning because somebody told you that you should be doing that weekly. So if your hair looks very dull, it's inflexible, it feels like it could break easily, then you might need to deep condition. But I challenge you first to clarify your hair because that's often signs of buildup on your hair. And then if you truly still need it, then you could go in with a deep conditioner. Most people can get away with something like once a month or just occasionally, or again, when your hair actually has those signs and symptoms. So the fix is to watch how your hair responds on the days when you deep condition. Don't change anything else and see if your hold is worse, you have more frizz, or it's weighed down, and then compare that to your results on the days where you don't deep condition. It's also important to know that deep conditioning creates softness in the hair. It makes it more flexible, but it's not going to actually repair damage in the hair and improve the health of your hair. But if you truly want to repair damage and strengthen your hair, then you need bond building treatments. I can put up some of my favorites here on the screen and also link them below, but these products are proven to actually repair the broken bonds in your hair at a structural level. So they actually permanently repair your hair. Now, obviously you still need to grow out your damage and get that trimmed off. That's the only true fix for damage, but this is something that you should be doing on a regular basis anyway to maintain that strength in your hair. Because we all do things to our hair to damage it. We go out in the sun, we brush it, we detangle it. But if you're someone who colors, bleaches your hair, or you previously did, or maybe you use heat on your hair, or you used to, you definitely should have bond building treatments in your routine. If you're styling your curls with 3 to 5 products in your routine, this could be the cause of your frizz, and it's probably because somebody told you that you need a leave-in, a curl cream, a foam, a mousse, and a gel to style your curls. Brands are famous for doing this, probably to sell more product, and a lot of people tend to just use all of these products in their routine without really understanding what that individual product is actually doing because they've never tested it on its own. We already talked about how conditioning and hold interact. The more conditioning in your routine, the less hold, thus the more frizz you're likely going to have. That relationship applies even more with your leave-on products, so the styling products that you're using and not rinsing out. Every product that you layer on underneath of your primary holding product, like your gel, is likely going to soften its hold. Even if you are still getting hold, but your hair is very weighed down and heavy and not quite up to its full curl potential, this could be why. If you look at the ingredients in these products and you think about the way that they make your hair feel, they're very softening, and a lot of times they have a lot of water. Conditioning agents and water both reduce your hold. So the hold from your gel at the last step can't really grip onto your hair. hair. I see this all the time with my clients that are not getting a gel cast. And as soon as we cut out all of those products and I tell them to try just styling with a gel, they get so much more hold. So your hair obviously needs some form of conditioning, but you have to look at what it actually needs based on its symptoms to dial in that conditioning amount under your gel. So what I typically recommend, and this has been proven to work with my clients, is pick one prep product such as a heat protectant or maybe a leave-in conditioner with heat protection, especially if you diffuse, and then a good strong hold gel. Or even if you want to use a lighter hold gel, you should still consider the amount of conditioning level under it. And some people can get away with using a prep product entirely, especially if your gel already has moisture in it. So that's what I'm saying at considering the properties that are in that product and avoiding overlap. If you're using a gel, for example, like the Weedad Advanced Climate Control Gel or the AG Liquid Effects, these are some of my favorites for my hair type. They are plenty conditioning. They have that moisture in them, they have that softening effect, and they have hold. So there's really not a need for a product underneath of it for moisture. You're just doubling up. Now, I often still use a heat protectant with these, but I go with a heat protectant that's very lightweight, like the Curlsmith Miracle Shield or the Living Proof Leave-In Conditioning Spray, plus the Weedad Gel. So that's a balanced routine for my hair type. But for someone who doesn't need much moisture, such as if you have more of a soft finish hair, you might be able to use something just like the Joico gel on its own. It already has heat protection. It's fairly low in moisture, but it's not fully drying on the hair or anything. And then it also has hold. So you're checking all of those boxes in one product. If you're finding this video helpful so far and you love a simple routine, hit subscribe because I make videos like this all the time and I have lots of routines and tutorials coming out for you. I know you've heard this advice before, and that is that you should style your curls on soaking wet hair, like even in the shower sometimes, or that viral bowl method where you're literally drenching your hair in water. But if you can ever get a gel cast, you definitely should not be styling soaking wet. But if you get good hold and you're styling soaking wet, then keep doing it. This advice specifically applies for people who can't get a cast or they have a ton of frizz when they're styling their hair and after they finish diffusing or drying. To be fair, this advice isn't all wrong. Obviously, when your hair is wet, it clumps more. Water does really help curly hair form, and it also clumps it together. It also helps your products go on more evenly. So that part of advice is totally real. But what nobody explains is the potential downsides and also how water or moisture interacts with your gel, just like we talked about before. The more water that you have in your hair, the less hold you're going to have. So it's going to throw off your balance because what does water do? It dilutes your styling products, meaning you're left with less gel on your hair. You end up using more, it's very wasteful, you're using a ton of product because it's kind of just rinsing off. Now you might still be getting a cast, especially if you're using a really strong hold gel because sometimes it can withstand a lot of water. But if your hair never seems to dry or it gets kind of weighed down and heavy, or you get stuck with that wet look all day on wash day, this could be why. Not to mention if you have thin, low density hair, if you style soaking wet and your curls get really nice and clumped, which curl clumps are so pretty, but you might be left with like 4 curl clumps on your head and then your hair looks really thin and sparse. I've definitely been guilty of this before. So there is a way to achieve kind of a balance or the best of both worlds, and this is my method. So the goal is for your hair to be evenly wet. So you don't want to see areas of your hair that are starting to dry or like patchy wet frizz. Sometimes my shirt does get wet or the towel that I wrap around, but it's not like dripping all over the floor. It's not like running down my face or anything. I am hearing that squishy, squelchy sound when I'm styling, but again, it's not dripping everywhere. I also like to blot my roots first. That's why you usually see me wrap my hair up in a hair towel and then I take it down and wet the rest of my hair. It sounds counterintuitive, but I have a method to my madness, I promise. What I'm doing with that is basically absorbing the excess water at my roots and on my scalp. There is no need for your scalp to be dripping with water to have good curls. So my roots are just damp, but the links of my hair have more water. So by wrapping my hair up in a towel and then having a spray bottle, I have more control over the water level. You don't really have control when your hair is drenched in the shower with styling. So if you have waves or loose curls or your hair is struggling to clump, you definitely want a lot of water. So you can spray it down liberally, but the fix is to microplop to remove that excess water. This just means you take your hair towel and you scrunch out that excess water when you're done styling. The curl clumps will stay intact. Then you can add a little bit of extra gel, just a light glaze to help add more hold to your hair. And then you can go to diffusing or air drying. So that step is key. You don't want to be soaking wet styling and then going straight to diffusing or air drying. It's going to take forever for your hair to dry. Raise your hand if you've also heard the advice that you should always be finishing off your hair with an oil or a serum, or use an oil to scrunch out the cast. This is again one of those things that I often see when brands and just other creators and stuff will share like a 4-step routine, and it's like leave-in, curl cream, gel, oil. Not everybody needs a finishing oil to break your cast or to finish off your hair. First, think about the way that oil makes your hair feel. It makes it feel soft. And what have we been talking about this whole time? Softness reduces hold. That's what it's supposed to do. So you use it to scrunch out your cast, now it feels soft. But if you end up with frizz when you do this, or you get very frizzy by the end of the day or next day, it could be from that finishing oil. And what people don't mention is when you're putting oil now on top of your gel, when you go to refresh the next day, you now have this barrier. So you might find that your hair gets very stringy when you refresh, or you can't really get your cast to reactivate because now you've got this oil in the way. So it's kind of repelling that water. That's what oil is meant to do. Some people also like to use an oil or a serum to humidity proof their hair. I've heard this theory a lot too. But if you think about it, you would need to completely coat your hair in that oil to actually repel humidity. I mean, maybe it's helping a little bit, but I personally have never found where putting oil on my hair has protected it from the humidity. If anything, it just makes it way too soft and then the hair just puffs up completely in humidity. So the fix is to just use your bare, dry hands. A lot of people don't know that you can simply break your cast by just scrunching your hair. It's the friction that is breaking the cast. When you rub against your hair strands, it breaks up the cast. You don't have to have the oil present in order to do that. So I usually recommend my clients do this. Dry off your hands so your hands are dry and not sticky, because you don't want to have your hair stick to your hands and make frizz, and just go around and scrunch out the cast. A lot of people are missing this step entirely and they're wondering why their hair is crunchy. It's because you have to break that cast. If you're looking to humidity proof your hair, then I actually recommend going with a hairspray instead. So this is going to give you hold. It's also going to probably give you some texture that's going to help your waves and loose curls last a lot longer, but it's also going to help repel the humidity. You don't need a ton of it, just a light mist all over can really help. Now, I do still use oils in my routine, but I actually like using them at the pre-shampoo step. So instead of at the end of my routine, I like using them at the very beginning on dry hair before I shampoo. They can really help protect your hair. And why is that? Well, what did we already talk about? The oils repel water, so it can actually help protect your hair during that shampoo process. It's not going to completely prevent your hair from getting wet. Like I said, there's no way to fully waterproof your hair, but it can definitely help reduce that cuticle swelling that happens during the shampoo process. I like going with something very lightweight. I can link a few of my favorites below, as well as on the blog post that goes with this video. If your curls get significantly frizzy when you refresh or by the end of refresh day, this could be why. You may have heard people share the advice that you should use conditioner to refresh your hair because curly hair is dry. But here's the problem with that nobody explains. There's often first a misdiagnosis. When you wake up and your hair looks kind of dull, it looks frizzy, it doesn't always mean that it's dry. You often just are seeing a breakdown of your hold. Maybe you didn't have enough hold on wash day, or maybe you did, but you're just naturally seeing the softening of that hold. Curly hair does tend to look a little more dull the next day. It doesn't look quite as dark, and it's also going to get frizzy the next day. Frizz does not equal dryness, and that's what people don't understand. The easiest way to tell if your hair is truly dry or not is to feel it. If it feels overall soft, like aside from the feeling of like crazy hair, that's going to feel a little brittle. But if your hair overall feels soft and it's frizzy, then it's probably just lack of hold. If it feels very brittle, like it might break, very inflexible and frizzy and dull, then it could be dryness. But there's actually another way that I recommend refreshing that I'll share in a moment. But almost everyone probably just needs more hold the next day to refresh their hair. So if you think about what a conditioner does, like everything I've mentioned in this video, it softens the hair. And anytime you're putting something softening on top of of your gel, now you're breaking down the hold, just like the oil we talked about. It's going to create a little bit of a barrier. Yes, your curls might get revived because usually you're putting water or your conditioner has water. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing the water reactivate your curls, but you're softening them, you're weighing them down. Additionally, rinse out conditioners, like your standard regular conditioner, that's what I'm talking about here, are not designed to be left on the hair unless if the label states that. So we don't want to be putting something on our hair that's meant to be rinsed out that can alter the pH of our hair. So what you can do instead to refresh and revive the hair is use just water. So if you got enough hold on wash day, if your hair dried with a cast on wash day, then you can get that cast back to revive your frizz by simply wetting your hair. So I actually recommend just wetting your hands and glazing some of that water over your hair, letting it dry or diffusing it for just a second, and your cast will probably come back if you used a good gel and if you applied enough of it. If the cast didn't come back and you still have a lot of frizz, then I recommend picking up your gel that's already in your hair. We don't want to mix and match different products here because then you end up with frizz and stickiness. Mix it with some water in your hands and then use that water gel mixture to refresh your hair, and I bet you'll get a cast back. Now, if your hair is genuinely dry, like maybe you're just really lacking slip, it feels inflexible, tangled, it looks dull and feels really brittle, then you can use a leave-in conditioner. Or sometimes I even use my heat protectant product because it has some conditioning properties. But these products are meant to be left on the hair and they still have conditioning ingredients. So that's a better option to go with instead of your conditioner that's meant to be rinsed out. So I would still recommend going about it in the same way. Wet your hands, mist a little bit of your leave-in in your palms, mix it together to dilute it so you don't put on too much product, and then go in and refresh with that. You might find that you don't get a cast back because now you've put something softening on top of your gel, so you might need another light coat of your gel to seal things in. But if you find your cast comes back, then good. Your gel had enough hold that it could withstand putting leave-in on top of it, so that's a good thing too. By the way, if you need more help with refreshing, download my free minimal refresh method. It's a flowchart that walks you through exactly what to do based on your hair symptoms. Link for that is below. These 5 things that we talked about are all just expressions of the same principle. Every softening or conditioning product reduces the overall hold in your hair, which then leads to frizz. Curly hair does need conditioning. You just need an adequate level of conditioning for your hair type so you don't throw off your hold balance. This is my moisture hold balance framework. It's the foundation of everything that I teach in all of my routines. And here's the thing, this popular curl advice is not necessarily wrong. There's no right or wrong way to do your hair, but nobody explains what some of this advice could cost or the potential downsides or how things interact. And once you understand it, you have control. That's what I teach with all of my clients. That's my goal with all of them, is to give them that knowledge so they understand what is actually happening in their hair so they have more control. You have more control over your hair than you think. If you're tired of not having control over your hair and you need that help, check the link below for details about my curl coaching program. We just kicked off our summer program, but you can always register early for the fall program if you want. And if you're serious about joining and ready to invest, you can always send me a message to see if it's a good fit. And if you want to just learn here on YouTube, I recommend checking out the video I will link for you right here on the screen. It's all about the moisture hold balance framework and how to build a balance routine. So I walk you through exactly how to pick a shampoo, a conditioner, a prep, and a gel for your hair type based on those needs so you have that long-lasting results. That's what we're all about here, is curls that take less effort and last longer. So I will talk to you over in that video. Bye everyone.